siege action. But the question is, where will map number 2 go? Will we be relatively open? Will TBE be able to find their footing? Because as we get into map number 2, we have to start thinking about that mid game, that mid 3rd through 5th map where things get really close. Because if Hisoka and them are already starting to like kind of draw out on that kill point differential on the leaderboard, you gotta start now.
Well, London, get loud. Map number 2 is here. Let's see where these team drops and which team will be able to rotate out and maybe, after a bit of trouble in the early fights, in the early game, find some footing and make a name for themselves. A lot of teams trying to do just that. There's a couple teams we want to shout out. You see DBZ on the left-hand side. But take a look at that circle tip. Pretty much dead center.
Hey, everything is free, and you can see Juki is there, finding that first action onto Team Shucks. We did have the plane line go from the southeastern to the northwestern, so teams that land airport, teams that land village, and then Juki is notorious for landing over on that H5 positioning, will have priority to get there crazy. But DBZ at airport going up against Team 32, Gromalok, Aydan, and Heats.
Yeah, it was funny. Again, I was talking to Aydan literally right before we walked to the caster booth, and he said, hey, good to see you, Coach. Guess what? We're contesting DBZ. Get ready. We're rocking 3 signals, and it's about to get crazy. So, hey, I respect the confidence. Confidence is key when you're playing Warzone. TTK pretty fast. That means you have to go into every single fight immediately with confidence, or you're going to fall very quickly. We're going to swing over to another early fight on the other side of the map here, Tiff. Champy yet again in a fight. And guess what? Back to DBZ, because again, they are in trouble. Aydan, one of our 10 mouse and keyboard players, leading the charge here. He's in trouble. They do answer back. It's a 2v2.
Their ability to swarm in and outnumber, even with Clutch Belk already sent to the Gulag, Zlaner and Destroy working in tandem here just to get a little bit closer to Aydan. And honestly, if they could just save at least one player with a Gulag on that squad, it would be nice. But you can see Destroy gonna connect with the lethal. He jumps down, a huge shield crack. There goes the knock, and Aydan. That will be all 3 of them in the Gulag. Destroy, Zlaner last alive for the team, and while they wait for their member to come back from the Gulag, have won the initial contest. But something I want to ask you, Ghosh, one member of Juki's squad elected to land over by airport, completely differentiated away from the other duo. Now you can see they're actually reuniting over there in H5. Why do you think that was?
I think they're probably trying to get not only some information, but potentially pick up a third-party shot, especially from distance, especially if you grab the Signal 50 off the ground or what have you. You can get your loadout quick enough, you can get involved. But speaking of getting involved, Jesus, Huskerrs pushing the fight. It's Dongi on the other side. Dongi was worried about TBE dropping on them. No, it's Huskerrs, it's Mutex, and it's Jesus, and it's not close. Mutex is down, Huskerrs in trouble. Nofo fallen. The final fight, Jesus has no problem grabbing the full team wipe, send them all to the Gulag. We'll see you later. We talked to Jay, he said, we're just happy to be here. If I win any money today, it's all going to my dad. The reason I started playing Call of Duty at 9 years old was because of him. And guess who is here? TBE, trying to play cleanup, play a little bit of trash collector, but Jesus not gonna go down without a fight.
In a fight they did, but it doesn't matter. TBE already off to a better start and a perfectly timed third party. Mutex just getting back on his feet, but Huskerrs able to snake away, but Noobs, he says, no, I am not gonna let this go. You can see he has no plates on, so it's all flesh damage. Noobs just trying to play it a little safe, but unfortunately Huskerrs runs right into him, and to the Gulag they go.
Such a fun conversation point to see TBE starting out hot yet again, this time getting the better of their opponents. We'll see where they can go from here. After clearing their POI, they should be free and clear for a while to rotate through the mid game and then make it into the end game. Now let's check in with a hometown favorite, Wars, after an incredible performance from stage 1 with their top fragger from King AJ, an incredible trio, and they had a decent stage 2 performance. And I said this before, but I want to re-emphasize it. Wars said, I'm the old head. I'm one of the old guard. Don't forget about me. I was at the top since the very, very beginning. I started competing. I was playing this game before anybody else was, and certainly the case. We'll see if they're continuing able to creep up the leaderboard. Let's check in with our team in 6th place, just on the outside of Tapa.
Tapa got to hold out Limax, but you can see the number advantage as they try to stack the staircase. Tapa going to jump out onto this area, and Tapa just waiting for the push. Sometimes you can kind of listen it out. You hear the feet climbing up the stairs, but look at them overlooking the balcony, but just trying to nestle in. Joewo looking to make the push, but unfortunately when you have the high ground, you can bait it out. You can bait out the windows, but not anything going to connect. Lethal's going out to safety. He jumps down. Limax, he caught him from behind, but no shots are connecting, and this is a Joewo is in the Gulag, but here's the deal, guys. If you want to check out maybe the map view, you want to see positioning of where all your favorite creators are at home, because we have 150 players with 150 different POVs, but Call of Duty Echo channel on Twitch has the map feed, so be able to go check that out.
It's a great shout, because you're going to be able to see off to the right-hand side, even if they're not on main stage. Now they are. Juki's fighting Kong. Juki's on main stage. Team Infernal, a team that I talked to before the broadcast, and they said their crowning achievement in Warzone history was qualifying for this LAN, and a lot of teams said the same. They're so happy to be here, so happy to be competing, and I think some of these teams are going to surprise not only the other competitors, but probably also us.
Look, I'm just happy to be here, Goj. Honestly, we've been here since the very beginning. Think back to Verdansk when all of our players started competing. Hisoka back then in the Rising Stars of Warzone here, taking that map 1 win. And all I could think about when that was happening was, where is Hisoka's dad? You know, dude's probably in the stadium going absolutely crazy, and Wars, King, AG, and Co. is kind of positioned up against Lovey, but this is a little bit of a standoff. Wars does have the building available to them, and with Lovey and Co. on that head peak, sometimes it's best to just disengage, prioritize getting to the next circle. With that being said, it's closing in 2 seconds, and only one squad has left.
Yeah, I like this play from Wars. Of course, they lost Prodigy, which means they're down in player numbers, so you're fighting a team maybe you think you can win against. If everything was equal, you win 9 times out of 10, but when you're down a player, it's a 2v3, not a very smart fight to take, especially when that team is already set up in the building. So they're going to relocate, reassess the situation, likely either take this fight from a different angle once their teammate comes back, or they're able to buy them back, because it looks like Prodigy lost that Gulag, or just completely rotate out and let them go.
Look, I'm really loving this while we're looking through where Juki is, but I start thinking about that rotation with the circle coming in and the gas at their back. So as we take a look at that, we think of the areas that we saw the highest congestion area. In Satik Cave, that was where people started to get a little mixy, and Team Huskerrs currently situated in a solid positioning just on the north side of Said. You can do a lot of gatekeeping there, and it seems that they've gotten some of their numbers back up, so that regain is happening, coming back from the Gulag and showing out strong. But Juki sitting on 1, they're gonna hop in a vehicle and hit their rotation as well. But when you start to think about that eastern side of the map that they're going to be going through, Al Shireen Pass will be their next POI, and that's pure high ground. And Adrian, well, he's got it too.
Uh-oh, Savvy Ultra's team in trouble. Blade will fall. The others able to get out, though. See Team 2 just barely sneaking out. Team 21, that's going to be one of our expansion teams trying to creep up and maybe grab this third party. Aydan and Rated gonna have to play Billy Goat here and climb the mountain a little bit. Just narrowly passing each other. There it is, Method, Sick. Apologize, Method, Sick, Cams, and Daga here from EU region, creeping up the bottom side of the mountain, but enough cover where they're not gonna interact. And Huskerrs yet again in trouble. TBE is still hunting down this team. Even after a restabilization coming out of the Gulag, Tommy is not going to let his prey get away. Huskerrs in the water trying to do everything he can. Tommy does go down, but not dead yet. Noob should clean this up, no problem. Huskerrs gets taken out again. 3 teams have been eliminated, and folks at home, we're gonna check in with the first team that was fully eliminated. Let's see what Frankie's got to say on the stage.
Thank you. I'm with Team Rocket, who've come all the way from Poland. I know the Polish fans are cheering them on in the audience right now. And in the Team Rocket booth, I've got Zakar with me. Zakar, you got really unlucky in the Gulag. Tell me what happened.
Well, I just missed 1 bullet, I think it was. And yeah, I was just unlucky too, because I should have killed them, to be fair. I don't know why. Yeah, it is.
Well, it's only the 2nd drop out of 6. How are you finding things on LAN so far?
I'm loving LAN so far, honestly. Like, the LAN is actually treating me great, but first game was pretty much, it was unlucky for me because my PC just turned off, so I had to get that fixed. I'm still fixing my settings and stuff, so I hope I will get them sorted by now, like the next game. And yeah, I hope everything will be fine.
All right, well, Dziękuję, thank you so much for talking to me. Polska Gorum, let's head back to the map.
Polska Gorum, thank you so much, Frankie, for checking in with them. They were sitting in 9th place after map number 1. We now going out first, and you heard him. It's unlucky. 1 bullet. That time to kill inside the Gulag is unforgiving. So many of our teams, once they go in there, start pre-firing every angle they can get. And with the private lobbies, you never know who you're going to go up against. He said Jay, and now DJ Moss Z-Smith, they are fighting it down on the edge here at Observatory. Now, Ebates and DJ, they're not actually competing for any kind of organization here. They're actually doing it for DJ Moss's brother, Maddie, who could not be here today, and they are laying it on the line, and I'm so excited to see how they perform. But so far, you've got to get out Observatory. You have Team Zeppa just ahead of them, and that's going to make things a little difficult.
Yeah, Observatory, after being demolished in their last couple updates, of course, not necessarily the favorite drop spot for a lot of these teams. A lot of nooks and crannies that people can hide into, but definitely one you want to rotate through because of the high ground. Let's take a look at another couple teams interacting here early. I see Tony White here on main stage, an EU team as well. He touts himself as the oldest competitor here at 32 years old. So shout out to Tony, still competing at 32, doing it with a full-time job and everything in between. Man's excited to be here, and I'm sure this team is excited to potentially have a solid map. Now, I'm taking a look at that top right-hand corner of our screen here, and I see Team Intex with Believe really creeping up the leaderboard. They weren't even inside. I think they were 4th place going into this map, so they've crept all the way up into 2nd place. They've got a nice, solid map going, especially in the early game, already finding what looks like 7-8 eliminations. They could really bide their time and hold out their own into the end game and just set up going in to the final couple circles. We'll see if they're able to do just that. Inxian finding a couple off screen as Aydan and Rated, well, rather Rated and Adrian moving their way in, getting picked up by Signal 50. See ya later. That's Ahsoka waiting, watching, and finding it. Adrian in trouble, Rated in the gulag.
That's gonna be really tough. Adrian with no flares does have a precision airstrike available to him, but just trying to get into some cover. You start looking at the money situation. Will Rated come back from the gulag? Doesn't necessarily have enough to buy someone back, and once you start getting into Hydroelectric, there's only like 2 or 3 buy stations right now on the map. We have a mobile as well, but you know those will be watched like a hawk. So Smixy, let's check in with her. Typically lands over in Rohan Oil. You said it best. They're climbing up the leaderboard, and Smixy is gobbling down, looking to get a knock onto Castillo, but attract the numbers advantage. You stack every engagement, and then you reward yourself with that durable gas mask, picking it up.
Yeah, a nice win. They're going to continue to play hand in pocket, just work together all the way through each of these buildings, clear the high ground, set up for the next rotation, and hopefully pick up a couple in the process. I believe this team, I was talking to them before, and they said they were going to run 2 signals this time around, flanked running one and a tracked running one, and who knows, maybe they're running 3. So every single time I asked the team, they were like, we're running 1 signal. Then I asked them again, they're like, we're running 2 signals. And now I think they're running 3, so who knows. But the team, I think in 6th place going into this, Joewo squad got 2nd overall in the map. Needed a couple more kills to creep up the leaderboard. They're in trouble as well and rotating. Let's take a look at that map. They've actually got a nice, pretty clear rotation around this water. If they're able to cross over, you can see Team 11 is Joewo's squad. And as we see the circle, pretty centrally located still. Everybody's kind of staring at Hydroelectric as potentially the end game.
Yeah, that's going to be a really tough one to get into. You have the cluster of teams that are going to be exiting out of the further southwestern side of Al Mazrah City. You can see Team Jukies have kind of stapled along the side of Marshlands and carried that forward, making their way to Hydroelectric, but they will still have to cross through the open and through Team Stuwo, so that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, we got DBZ after winning their early encounters, or rather, maybe in trouble in their early encounters. They were able to answer back against Aizen after map 1, and now they've got some high ground here on the outside of Hydro. Look, you've got DJ Moss, Z-Smith on the building next to you. You're not too worried about them. You don't think they're going to leave their location, so instead, let's find some easy eliminations if we can, as other teams are rotating in. There's several squads in this area. You've got to hold your position. Elo in trouble, but answers easily against Echo. They're going to be able to push this fight with ease. 3-on-1, 3-on-2. They've lost 1 in the process at least. Down. I thought it was going to be an easy fight, but Tomsterbomb goes big and then might be able to snake his way out of there.
Look, if anyone's going to go big, it's going to be Tomsterbomb, and you have to play your life. Once you get out of that player advantage, you can see the dolphin diving happening behind the tree, just trying to separate themselves a little further out. But with so many teams, 43 in particular, left in this lobby, only 7 have exited. This is not where you want to start your map number 2, and especially as you see some distance there for FIFA Kill. Abwiz there going down on that kill feed, but Serious Mariko, they're setting themselves up into that upper high ground engagement against Super Evan and DBZ colors. Now, let me just tell you, I saw them getting their photos done yesterday, and they were here with pure confidence. They knew that this was a job to be done, and they were like, we had so much fun throughout the stages, we're gonna bring it today.
I love it. Well, hey, confidence is key. We'll continue to say it today, but Sirius on your screen is going to have to try to push into this next circle, and you're going to be met by, I believe, that's Nico Infinite on the other side. We can talk about the coach all day today. Crowder, an incredible competitor, coach, and everything in between, has a chance that no one else has to potentially be a Warzone champion on top of winning champs as a player and a coach. An incredible player that came through in the wild card of the LCQ. Ridiculous performance through the water, and you're always going to find them near the in circles. The question in my mind always is, do they have enough eliminations to make it not only into the money, but make it into the top 10 today?
That's true. It's a good shot on the money right now. Top 25 here on the day of our 50 teams will land themselves with a portion of the prizing, and it's going to be all the eliminations that you need. You see Team Biffle creeping up the score, trying to close that distance onto Hisoka, but Team Luki on your screen, Horrid gonna fall, go to the gulag, and some Semtex going out to kind of anchor down on that staircase. But the question of the day is all of these flares, it's flare warfare here. I just saw 2 on the ground. Trev's able to pick up another one, so anytime they run into issues, you just gotta do a little dolphin dive 360 out of a window and hit the Hail Mary flare.
That's exactly right. That flare, of course, an easy way to get your teammate back. It will pick a random teammate, but a teammate nonetheless. And at this stage, at this level of Warzone competition, you trust every single one of your teammates, regardless of the situation. Team 36 having to rotate in. That's Teeny and Levi had a chance to sit down with that squad. That's our Australian expansions team. And, well, they really were relying on Zeppa to kind of lead the charge from an IGL standpoint and having LAN experience. Hey, speaking of Crowder, in trouble, and it's Swagg answering against Nico, against Dez, and against Crowder, and I believe that's a full team wipe. We'll see you later. Gonna have to come back in map 3.
What's up with Swagg always running into the wildcard teams?
Hey,
it was
look.
Tactical Brit in map number 1, and now Nico Infinite, Crowder, and Dez in map number 2. Look, if that's how you gotta do it, you gotta do it. But this positioning is quite nice. You can see there's a handful of teams just around them, so they will run into issues from the north and from the west and the east. So playing that position is key. Hopefully you've got smokes for rotation and the signal for picks.
All right, now this zone is going to be ridiculous. You just saw that the gulag is closed, so no more safety nets. Look at all the loadouts falling out of the sky. There are still 35 teams alive. We're just now creeping into the first multiplier. So when we talk about kills being king, this is what we're talking about. This is not chance, but there is a lot of things that you need to do to mitigate RNG to have a chance in the final couple circles. Juki's already finding more. Look, you're going to find kills because there's still 89 people left on the map going into this next zone.
Now, Goj, this was the engagement that I was telling you about just prior. We knew through their rotation out just north of Marshlands, they were going to run into Team Stuwo, and you can see Patzuka is able to grab a knock onto Juki's, but so far, 2 members of that team are still up. They're able to take that squad out, but Soka, they've already made it into Hydroelectric. They're prioritizing those early rotates and keeping stocked up on multiple plates. They've got gas masks, and they prioritize taking high ground where all the teams are. You can see DBZ in the distance. You also have Empathy and Finesse still up for their squad. But to get a hand at Soka and to chow them, it's going to take everything that you've got.
Yeah, I don't mind this spot by them, especially if they get that southern zone pull. They've got a huge advantage here on the edge. Now, they've got to clear their backs. There are a lot of teams to go through. Yeah, this isn't even hardly in-game, although technically it is. There are so many teams alive and so many pieces of cover they could be hiding behind. You've got to assume every single corner you check, there's going to be a team. Every single wall you peek over, there's going to be a team. Tiff, this isn't multiplayer, but I think the snakes are about to be in.
Let me tell you, you guys at home thought your Warzone ranked matches were tough, that you were like going for your SR. Well, think about being in the World Series of Warzone in endgame with 30 squads to go. We are 18 minutes into the game and 30 teams alive. In Skullface, they have set their sights on the next team. They want to clear out the south, so they're going to take that southwestern rotation and try to take up as much space, claim this building, because it is a game of space towards the end and high ground.
All right, Skullface again. This team is in such a good spot, but they're going to have to now rotate in. They didn't get the zone they wanted, but still not a bad spot. Swagg pushes forward, getting held by J-Tech. Colors goes big with smokes and nades. You've got to use your resources effectively to zone off the advances. If you want a chance to make the in circle, you better have smokes, and you better find them on the ground after you use them. Binzy, Boog, Stukex, underrated squad from this area, trying to hold down the other squads as well. And This is going to be a tough rotation, and Swagg has the chance to have the high ground here, but they've got to win the gunfight. He can't find his opponent. There's too much smokes. He throws the flare up. They at least have a floater somehow still alive. So much smoke and so little time to get to the next zone. In trouble with the floater. Hopefully can farm a bit of those multipliers. The question is, how many kills do they have?
Just on the outside in the gas. You saw the flare go up, so Super Evan will come back in. Boog's able to get the full onto Swagg, but it's TBE with the high ground in the tower, and you can see Boog's just checking up into the sky. Hey, what is going on? I have a signal 50, and Panda goes down. This is where it starts to be really tough towards that end game. You don't have resources, you run low on plates, and that signal 50 is a heavy hitter. It just takes one sometimes to knock them down, but Mayapo, Hisoka, Skullface going for that ever-coveted high ground, utilizing smokes, and this could be the engagement that they need. They're going to clear out this building, one of the last ones in the zone, but Skullface, I mean, a little bit of a bathroom camper. Sometimes you got to do it.
I saw a lot of Team 40 there in the kill feed. Shifty alive as well. Some of the top teams from the first map still up, but some new faces here as well. Sway, Planticity alive without their third, but alive nonetheless. Inside, about to be the top 15. You're about to see a new multiplier, and Shifty on 6. Here they are. They've lost Sage, but Shifty and Biffle alive, continuing to slay out. This team is frightened. Rather, the other teams are frightened of them. Gonna hide out on the edge of zone with the smoke. Should be able to pick up a few more eliminations. Might have actually been able to get a buy off as well. Squad 12 goes down. That's Zungod. Tiff, we're down to the final 13 teams, and everyone biding their times. Again, just a moment of peace before the chaos that are the last final circle.
Team Joewo went out, Team Almond went out, but Tomsterbaum from Team Echo, the longtime duo of Echo, still poised alone in that building. If they had any eliminations throughout this game, getting that coveted multiplier. Now, mind you, in 10th place, you're sitting with a 1.6x. You hit 5th, you go to 1.8, which is almost as good as that coveted 2x. But Hisoka, your map 1 winners, they're pushing the issue. They're getting a little bit closer, just taking all of the stun grenades to the face. But as a duo, Hisoka and Skullface, we chop out that Hail Mary flare, and then we go in for more.
Unreal, Hisoka challenging everything. Gets the flare off, and
Get it,
Hisoka goes big! Will fall in the process with a third party, but finds the team wipe. Sway answers back, but Hisoka's gonna feel good about that one, especially with flares in the sky, especially with some floaters. Who knows what they'll be able to do, especially if they make it into the top 5, Tiff. This could be another monster game, and all three up. Let's go to Team Biffle. They've got player advantage, they've got high ground,
Biffle.
and they are farming the skies.
Look, they were already so close to Soka on the leaderboard, so Biffle taking the prioritization, because Z-Colors, he's not paying attention. He's gonna fall to Biffle. You know that Repulse check is in the building, and Biffle looking to put on a show for them, and as they clear out Sage, just capitalizing, number stack, Biffle will fall,
free.
but Sage is going for the trade. Now, they just have to turn their tides towards it, but Shifty hits a flare.
This is about as free as it gets. Stukek trying to go big with the starter pistol. Castillo, our Mexico squad goes down. No, yes, Biffle answers back. Shifty, Biffle, Sage are your map 2 winners.
We knew that was going to be it. The moment Soka took that win, you could see everyone cheering for Biffle, and that is what they needed to do. They saw the 16+ point differential between them just after map number 1. They knew they had to come back swinging, and they do that tenfold. Looking at Biffle with the signal 50, just poised, playing Duck Hunter out of the air is everything that I was excited for.
Unbelievable job from the trio. They've battled so much